Hey everybody, welcome to Record Summer Bridging Rockstar Math 2019 Lesson 1. Hey, if you missed the lesson, I've recorded this for you and I'm going to go through and kind of cover what we talked about in the lesson. There won't be any of the interaction, which the interaction is always really good, and I've really enjoyed the interaction we had off last class. Make sure you're at the classes, but I'm going to post this up on the site. Well, if you're looking at it, you found it on the site, but it's just kind of explain the way we did things. What I have up here is I have this is your site. Okay, and like I said, I've already updated a little bit. I got the first class on there. Okay, I posted one of the logging into your Google account. I think a lot of the problems that the students and the parents kind of let me know about is that they weren't able to go and log into, they weren't able to pull up the docs. They weren't able to get in the Google Classroom. I think that was caused by them not being in a Gmail or a Google account that was at epicharterschools.org. I'm not sure if we can change that. Okay, but it's definitely something that it's helpful knowing that because it's something that we can definitely work around. And we kind of did that on the fly. There's me again. The Zoom meetings, 918-507-2084, had quite a few people on. I was really happy with that. This is what we call a hyperdoc. Okay, next time, hopefully, we'll be able to get this going. We tried it a little bit. Let me go back down. Just like the class, there'll be a few little imperfections here and there. But this is a hyperdoc, and next time I want to use this more. Okay, we had I think one student get on it. Okay, as you open it up, and this should work if you're at the epicharterschools.org. It's because we got several students that logged on there. They were able to log in and put their name in, and torta, spaghetti, pizza, spaghetti. I think spaghetti is definitely a carry on there. But all you can do is it's a Google Doc, and you can respond in it. Okay, I put my name in. I'll put my son's name. My son's name is also Paul. I'll put Daisy. That's my little girl's name. Okay, D-A-Z-Y. Okay, and you should be able to do the same. Like I said, all I did is I open it up, and it should be there. I'll look at and see. Yeah, okay. So that's part of the problem is we need to see if we can fix that. That's okay. We'll get that fixed. But this is a hyperdoc, and next time we'll try to use this more. I think we can get that going. They're kind of cool. I'm a big fan of hyperdocs. Now we're going to go back to the website. We scroll back down. Okay, that's just the basic information. And please, if you have any questions or something's not working, just get a hold of me. I don't really know. Okay, what we're doing is we're doing something that's really kind of never been done before on this scale. Is we're doing Zoom meetings and we're integrating sites and hyperdocs and all those other things into it. And if it's not working on my end, if it's working on my end, it might not be working on your end, and I need to know about that. So just click right there, and that should send me an Gmail, and you'll get it to me. Week 1. We're off to a start. Okay, and we're going to form a new doc. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second, but there's what we worked on in class. Okay, is the actual math, and we put up the problems. Okay, now as we scroll down, we get to our first problem. Okay, and there's the first problem right there. Okay, I'm a big believer in math. That math is awesome, and math is something that we do use every single day. Okay, we use it every day. It's important. Okay, everyday problem solving is math, and this is one of the simplest ones. This is one came from this actual is a real life problem. I'm going to Control C, and I'm going to copy that. This is a real life problem that came about last weekend. Okay, it came about as a result of a cookout that we had, and the week before that we actually kind of a camp out and bottled water at each. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to Google Docs. Okay, and I'm going to go free online. Everyone should have access to it. Okay, if you're on your school computer and you're at it'd be your login. My son's is like PM251000 at epicharterschools.org. That should be up here. If you're logged in as an EPIC student, you should have access to this. I'm going to see if I can change that where everyone have access. Hopefully we'll be able to do that. But you're going to go to Google Docs. Okay, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to name it. And I create a new document. And this is actually saved to your drive, something kind of really cool. Okay, but we're going to create a new doc. I was going to. See if it did it. There we go. First thing I always do is I always name my doc. Okay, so I'm going to put my name, Paul, and Summer Bridge Week 1. Okay, and I name my doc. It let me do that. Okay, and down here I can type. If I share it, I can share it with whoever I want to. And I might share. I'll put it up on the site, and we'll share it later. But my first problem was Control V. It was you're in charge of bringing bottled water to the campout. How much water do you bring? Okay, now kind of read and think about that problem because that's kind of a unique problem because there's some things that are missing there. Okay, those things that are missing are called variables. And I'm going to go a little bit bigger on this. Variables. And variables are really, they're things that can change. And if there's variables, they're also constant. Or constant. Something's constant. It's always going to be there. But variables are things that can change. And that's what we're going to look at right now. Okay. In this, there are things that can change. And there's things we don't know. Okay. You can put things we don't know. Okay. Variables. We don't know how many people. We don't know how many bottles. And pardon me just a second. Come back. How many bottles? We don't know how many bottles they'll drink in a day. Okay. We don't know another how many days. Okay. Now, and I want to use my brother-in-law. He's a fire chief at Fort Supply, Oklahoma. They're a small little town out in the middle of northwest Oklahoma, and they had a 4th of July celebration this last week, and it's really cool. About 700 people attended, and they provided water for everybody. So this is a real world problem. How much water do they provide? Okay, well, if we look here, okay, how many people with Jimmy, it was 700. Okay, and they figured that the average person was going to drink 2 bottles a day. Okay, 2 bottles for a day. And how many days? This one's pretty simple because it's just a July 4th celebration, is 1 day. Okay, now, when we look at the math, okay, what they did is they actually, 700 times 2. When we do the math, we come up with 1,400. Okay, now what Jimmy did is they brought 1,500 water bottles. Okay, so there was a little bit of an excess, a few cases. I think there's like 6 cases of water left over. I think there's a little bit more than 700, and not everyone drank, but this is just kind of the way you use math. Math is problem-solving skills that you use in a real day. Okay, like I said, this is a good problem, and you could change it up. Let's say you're going on a camp out. Camp out, and that's 2 days. Let's make it 3 days. Okay, so your camp out is going to be 3 days. Okay, now how many people? And say it's going to be just your family. Say you have a family of 5. Okay, and let's say because it's a whole day and you're going to be camping, so you're going to use how many bottles a day? And let's say it's going to be 5 bottles. Okay, that's going to be 1 for morning, 1 for each of your meals, and 2 in the afternoon. Okay, so what we have is we have the variables, and these can change. You might be going 5 days. You might have 6 people at your camp out, but what you're going to come up with is something that looks like this. Now let's give these a number. Okay, so we're going to call this D, and we're going to call this P, because you'll see numbers, you'll see these letters in math, and sometimes they get confusing, but all they are talking about really is just variables. So we're going to put B for bottles. And now, the parts of a multiplication problem. You have products. The product. Let me go back and I'll talk about that in a little bit later. But what we have now is we have D times P times B equals how many bottles? And we do the math. D is going to be 3 times 5. Okay, that equals 15. So what you're going to need is you're going to have basically 15, and this is saying 3 days, 5 people. Okay, so now to go ahead and solve, we got to take that one step further. We got to go 15 times 5. And when you do the math on that, that equals, what's that equal? That equals 75. So you're going to need 75 bottles. Okay, now here's how I want you to solve this. I'm going to put it into writing. So we are going to need to bring 75 bottles of water. Cool. Okay, and that's math. Let's go back and let's look at your previous problem. Okay, let's see if I can pull it up here. So 75 bottles. Let me scroll down just a little bit. There's always some problems. Okay. And here's something that one of my students did, Johnny, and I really like this because he was talking about the variables. Johnny typed in there, people at the camp out, how long is the camp out, one evening, one night, 1 weekend, 1 week, what size of water bottle. He typed in a lot of variables, and Johnny did a really good job of pulling that up. Let's go and look at the Ferris wheel. Okay, there's the Ferris wheel problem. How many people can ride the Ferris wheel? Control C. And all that does is just copies it. Okay, and there we go. We're back. Oops. Oh, yeah. There we go. Control V tells it to paste it. How many people can ride the Ferris wheel? I love Ferris wheels. A little bit of when I was a little kid, my uncle actually worked at the carnival, and he was in charge of the Ferris wheel. I got to ride for free as many times as I want. That's pretty cool. Okay, but let's go ahead and look at this. And how many people can ride the Ferris wheel? Well, if we go back and we look at the picture, wow. Okay, we see they got, and I guess you'd call these carriages. I think I call them seats in the online lesson, but we're going to call them carriages. And if you count the carriages, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it looks like 10 from there to there, 10. I'm just estimating 20, 30, 40. I'm guessing there's right around 50 carriages. Wow, that's a lot of carriages. So I'm going to say there's 50 carriages. Now, and that is, oops, I misspelled it. Anyway, we'll leave it there. I don't know how to spell carriage, but that's fine. We'll leave it there. I don't know if that's any same as different horse carriage. Anyway, we'll leave it. Hey, luckily this isn't an English lesson, but that's okay. We'll go with it. Keeping it real. Okay, so I'm looking at these, and they're kind of small. I'm betting two people in each seat. There. Okay. That was bugging me, but we'll just leave it. That's fine. Now, two people in a seat. That means there's going to be 100. If we do the math, 50 times 2 equals 100. So there's going to be 100 people that are going to be able to ride at one time. Now, there's other factors too. Okay, so factors are the numbers that you multiply by. Okay, so these are factors, 3 times 5, 15 times 5. Those are products. So factors, we'll write that down, factors. Now, in this case, it doesn't even have to be a factor. It can be a variable. Okay, and in this variable, they're going to be letters. Like we said, we showed D, P, all those things are variables. The number of that you multiply by. Product. That is your answer right there. That's your product. Now, let's keep on rolling on this. Because how many people can ride the Ferris wheel? At one time, it's 100. But see, real world math, it doesn't just stop there. Okay, I'm not a big fan of like textbook questions because they're just really simple. Okay, not that they're simple, but there's more to math than just that because there's all things we can take from this. Let's look at how many in a day. Let's say it takes 10 minutes. And I think that's probably about right. About 5 minutes on a ride, 5 minutes to load up and unload and do all those different things. So if you're looking at it, that's going to be 10 minutes a ride. That's going to be, or 6 rides an hour. Wow. Okay. Now, as we go down, and I'm going to need to go down on here on the little deal, 6 rides an hour. Let's say how long is it going to be open? Let's say the ride is open for 12 hours. Okay, from like 10 to 10. Okay. So if we want to figure out how many people are going to ride that Ferris wheel, we know it's 100. It's going to be 100 at a time. Okay. So 10 minutes a ride or 6 rides an hour. Okay. So that's going to be, if we do the math here, and I spread it. Okay. Let me just go and do this. Let's kind of expand on that math. So it's going to be, if there's 100 people, it's going to be 100 people to ride. And it's going to be, we're going to multiply that by 6 rides in the hour. Okay, and that equals up to 600 people each hour. That's quite a bit. Okay, now if we want to do the rides open for 12 hours, we got to 12 times 600. When we do that math, we come up with 720. Okay, and I'm not opposed to you guys getting out your calculators. I got my phone here. I can do the math on there. If I do the math on there, it's going to come up to clear. It's going to come up to 12 times 600. Ooh, look at that. Okay. Now, see, luckily I did a calculator, and so it's not 720 because there's 2 zeros there instead of 1. Okay. So that's what I like to do in my head, but I also like to check it on the calculator just to make sure. 720. That's 7,200 people. That's quite a bit of money. Okay. And there's other variables too. Okay. Because it might be open 7 days in town. Okay. And let's say every person paid $2 to ride. Well, if you look at that, okay, what we're kind of figuring out, and this is just moving on and moving forward. If there's 7,200 people a day that are going to ride that bad boy at $2 a ride, that means each day, I do the math, okay, 7,000 times 2 equals 14,000. Wow, $400 a day. So we've kind of taken one problem and we've worked at expanding. And that's the way real life math works. Okay, there's one problem, and there might be some other problems. If we go back to the drinking problem up here, drinking problem. Well, okay, the water bottle problem. We'll call it that instead. What if everyone doesn't like water? Okay, what if some people want to bring Coke or they want to bring Dr. Pepper? Okay, and then you can just kind of use the math to kind of figure that out. Well, we don't want all of them, so we're going to make maybe 200 of them Coke, 200 of them Dr. Pepper, but all that is math. Okay, all that is math. So I had one more math problem up here. Okay, and that math problem, we go look at that math problem is right here. It is. We'll scroll down. That's my Thunder problem. Okay, I'm a Thunder fan. And there'll probably be other Thunder problems on here, but it's basically the Thunder has hired you to make tickets for their games. How many tickets do you need? Okay. Now, we're going to go back and we're going to put that up on the right here. Okay. How hard do you make tickets for their games? How many tickets do you need to create? How would we even think about this problem? This is a real world problem. Well, we need to know, there's a few things we need to know. We need to know how many games. Okay. We need to know, and I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. It's kind of hard to see. How many games? We know how many people per game. Okay. And if we're just printing off tickets, that's good. Okay. And like I said, we can always expand math. Math isn't just stationary. It's not like a textbook. Real world math has like all different things that you can shoot off with, and you come up with many different questions. Okay. But how many games? Okay. How would we solve that? Well, you know what we could do? We could go to Google. How many games a year does the Thunder play? Okay, and you guys got this incredible invention, and it's not going to take us there. I bet you. Okay, so there we go. We got right there. We can look at the schedule. Okay, right there. And there's the schedule. Thunder on. It's got the actual season right there. And there's a couple things you can do. You can go count them. If you want to, you can go count them. There's apps. There's all types of things. So you can pull this up. Okay. And there we're not, a little bit of trouble. Downloadable schedule. That's what we want right there. So we're going to download the schedule. And there we got all the Thunder games right there. It shows that a loss. Okay, let's see if we can come at this a different way because we're having a little bit of problem. Real world problems are like that. Okay, not sure what site. So we'll go back to Google. Okay, and how many people attend Thunder game? Okay, and if we look in here, okay, wow, if we look at that, that's kind of cool because that gives us an answer right there. And we got to figure out how to get out of it. Pause. Okay, I thought this was pretty cool. What this shows is the Oklahoma City Thunder attendance for 2013-14, 800,000 people, average 19,000. That's amazing numbers. So if we go back and we plug that into the math, okay, and that's what I want to do now. Is we're going to go plug it back into math. Okay, so we know there is, like I said, it showed. Go back and look at it again. We're just using a number. We'll make it really simple. 800,000. Every year. Okay. Now, how many games are there? Okay, that's another question we need to get now. Okay, and if I go back, let's go back and look and see what we can find out. How many games does the Thunder play at home? Okay, and there we got some numbers right there. We can go through and we can look. Okay, 18, 19. But let's say we don't even really need that. Okay, because there's other ways to figure it out. Okay, how many games? How many people came? I know by looking, about 18,000 people can attend a game a year. Okay, 18,000 people. So let's look at this. So let's kind of add this up. Let's say we got 18,000 people times. Now we don't know. Here's what we don't know. We don't know the number of games, but we know 800,000 people a year attend Thunder games. So we got a variable, missing variable, and then we got the product over here. What type of problem is this? Let's look at it, because this is where it gets kind of relatively simple. 800,000, and we're going to divide it by 18,000. And when we do the math, I'm going to put it on my handy dandy calculator right here. Handy dandy calculator. 800 divided by 18 equals, comes out to almost 44 a year. Okay, so now if we set this up, it's going to be 44. We can put 44 and a half games a year. So 18,000 times 44 equals around 800,000. Now what we've done is we've taken this problem, we've kind of expanded it. It's pretty simple. Okay, 800,000. We looked up on the net. That's your yearly attendance in there. So we would have to print off 800,000 tickets. Okay, but by having this information, we were able to figure out some information we didn't know. Okay, we have multiplication, we have division. Okay, we have real world math problems. I got them on there. Okay, now what I want you to do is I'm going to show you how to do some things really quick. I'm going to go back over me in case you kind of missed it. But the first thing I'm going to show you how to do, and this is your homework, is I'm going to have you do Google, and I just put in Google Docs, and then I'm going to go to Google Docs free online. And what I want you to do is go to Google Docs, and you're going to create a Google Doc. Okay, and you're going to write out your answers there. So go on and answer those 3 questions, put them in the format. The first time I'm going to make it easy. You can even kind of copy my work. I don't care. The main thing is we set up a method of communication, because as we go on, we're going to use these sheets more and more. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to Ah, okay. And I'm going to name it. I'm going to name it hello. Okay, I can name it anything you want. What I prefer you to name it is put your name, Paul, and then put summer bridge lesson one. Okay. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to put hello. Okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to answer those three questions like we did on there. And you can use my sheet as an example. That's fine. Main thing is just establish means of communication. I'm going to have you share it. Okay. Here's where it gets kind of tricky. But I'm going to share it. And when I come in here, I'm going to put Paul McCord. I'm going to go ahead and put my wife. It won't let me put mine. And there she is. I put her right there. And then I'm going to put my teacher's name, Mr. Ford, right there. Okay. And then I'm going to click send. This right here lets him edit it. He can comment on it. She can comment on it. Okay. But they can both comment on it. But that's your assignment: is establish those means of communication. Get that Google Doc. If you don't know how to do it, ask me, and I'll make a video for it. Okay. That's relatively simple. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to go into Google Classroom. Okay, now this is the code in Google Classroom. I kind of put it up there already. The code's relatively simple. It comes right here. Okay, and the code is, I'll display it so you can see it. Okay, and that's the code. And you can even copy paste it to give you a copy, what they call a copy link. Okay, right there you can copy it, display right there. That's your Google Classroom code. We'll put it in there. But to get into my Google Classroom, all you need to do is just Google Classroom. I might take it and open it up, but it shouldn't. Okay. And then what you need to do is when you go to Google Class, move this over, just go to the join button right here. Click that, join class, and then you're going to type in the code. Okay. And there's the code right there, and then click join, and you're there. Okay. Now when you get to my code, when you get to my class, okay, and here we go. Record summer bridging. This is what it is. And you see some just different students that have already answered on here, and that's your homework assignment. Is go and establish communication. Is you're going to put it right in here. Okay, you're going to put something hello. Okay, just comment. Your homework assignment, make a Google Doc, and then also get in a Google Classroom. As we go more, this is what we're going to use. Okay, we're going to use this more and more and more. Hopefully we get the little problems fixed out. Remember, you need to be logged into your Google account before you can access all these things. There's some workarounds that we can do that allow it to go on. We definitely had that today. Okay, we're going to get better. Okay, like I said, this is a new way of doing things. That's one thing I love about Epic is Epic's constant changing, and I think what we're seeing that this is going to be, not to scare you, but I believe in Google Classroom. I'm a big, huge Google fan. I taught computers for years. This is my passion, making sites, doing that stuff for you. And hopefully sites, hyperdocs, those things are going to be more and more accessible, and we'll use them, and we'll get better as we go along. I promise you that. Anyway, on your site, let's go back and look at the site, okay? Because I did put some things on here, and what these are is I just thought these were some things that kind of tied into the lesson, okay? The iExcel and the oops, here we go. I got to publish this, okay? Now we got the view. There we go. Now we're there, okay? Um, Okay, the iExcel and Study Island, you don't have to do that. It's summer, okay? I want you to have fun. I want you to enjoy yourself. But these are some extensions right here that will help you out. These are the same type of problems that we saw. You can kind of work in. They're more of a textbook version. They're not as open as what we did. But going in, if you want to just kind of better yourself, and that's really what school's all about, is bettering yourself, is going to work these problems. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, please communicate back with me, okay? Like I said, I know that the first time we did this, there was like 4 in my class, and now there's like 44. So something crazy number like that. So we'll work it. If we need to, we might switch the classes up, meaning that we might have a 1 o'clock and a 2 o'clock, or do something like that. I think that might have posed some problems. As I kind of read up on what the problems were, there might have been some bandwidth problems that we had so many people on that we weren't able to work because of bandwidth problems. But we can get those things figured out. I don't know if that's the answer or not, but that's what I kind of read, and I'm going to stick to it. But we'll get it all worked out. Anyway, hey, you guys have a great week. Thanks for logging in my class, and rock it out. Bye.